Julia Patrick here, and today we have Cindy Hubiak, who is the Executive Director of the Arizona Society of CPAs, and we're going to talk about school tax credits because it's kind of the end of the year, even though a lot of us just went back to school. We really have an opportunity here to support our schools.
We do, and education is so important to CPAs. I know it's important to you, and obviously it's important to Arizona because these credits are very unique in the country.
Interesting. And so there are 3 credits. There are 2 for private, two for private and 1 for public schools.
One for public.
So you don't have to have a child in any of these schools. You can designate a school that you feel needs your assistance, or you have an alliance to.
Correct.
Talk about that. That's
a lot of our taxpayers volunteer at schools. They read. They provide medical assistance. They have a passion for assisting schools around the state, so they can pick their favorite school. For the public schools, it's money given for the support of extracurricular activities or character education programs. The Department of Revenue has a website that will share that, and of course the schools, the public schools, understand this in detail, and they can provide any information that a taxpayer is looking for to get a nice credit by supporting our public schools.
Wow. So one of the things that I think is very interesting is that this process, as you were talking earlier, allows the taxpayer or the tax filer to actually get a credit, and it's not just a deduction. Can you briefly talk about that? Because that's very interesting.
This is accounting 101, and that's why most taxpayers don't understand it. One of our CPAs, Alan, asked me to be sure to remind everybody that a credit, which is these 3 school tax credits, are much more valuable than a deduction. So these are actually dollar for dollar credits. If you decide to give money to a public or private school and it qualifies, Julia, for these credits, you actually get to reduce your Arizona tax by that same amount.
Wow.
So it's like making a contribution without spending any money.
Right.
There's a cash flow change, so you write the check and you don't actually have that change in Arizona tax officially until you file your return.
Wow. And so this has to be orchestrated by the end of the year.
This one's tricky.
Okay.
This one has some exceptions.
Okay.
So personally, to make it easy for me, and I'm a CPA, personally I make my contributions to these schools by December 31st.
Okay.
The legislature and the governor have allowed through April 15th to make the contributions. Then the taxpayer has to say which year it covers.
Okay. Okay. And I would imagine it's kind of hard because a lot of schools at December 31st, they're closed for winter break.
Yeah.
So I can understand how that could be a little bit of a challenge. It might require some advanced planning. But it's really an amazing thing. I know a lot of these funds help support kids participating in sports, music, theater, that they cost and they might not have the opportunity to participate. So it's really an interesting process that it funds.
It is a great way for we taxpayers, whether we have children in the educational system or not, to get involved. And if somebody doesn't have a child in a private school, there are actually 2 credits available to them, and they can get involved and support the children who are going to these schools. Very, very unique here in Arizona.
That's neat. Well, I'm just delighted that you came in. It's always great to have your wisdom about these things. We do bring you in every year to kind of give us the heads up, because these things do change every year. It seems like there's new information, and so we're really thrilled that you're here. We're going to put that website up here on this video so you can go and get the latest information. And thanks again. We love our CPAs. Sometimes it's not easy to work with them, but we do love them.
We are necessary, aren't we?
You are. Thanks, Cindy.
Thank you, Julia.